Get ready for the ultimate sports experience. Join former University of Michigan star and NFL sensation Braylon Edwards alongside the charismatic Shep.
Braylon Edwards, touchdown Michigan!
As they break down the latest in sports like never before. Tune into the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Touchdown, Braylon Edwards!
Weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. only on the Woodward Sports Network. Don't miss out on hot topics, insider insights, and the banter that keeps you coming back for more.
Well, hope you had a good weekend. Glad you're with us on the Braylon Edwards Show here on Woodward Sports. We are with you Monday through Friday, 2 until 4. The man's name on this show is out there making birdies. At least we hope he is.
He's out there doing his thing. He's been crushing the golf course lately. Absolutely crushing it.
You've been playing with him?
He's been hearing about it.
None of us.
I haven't played with
None
him.
of us have played with us.
You know
Wait
what
a second. Where's our invite?
I love so much about Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
He's lovable and gullible. He's been killing it. So, you know what? I've been killing it too. You telling everybody I'm killing it?
So the only thing I will give Braylon.
I got you, bro.
The one thing I will give, and I did see his handicap on his app with the scores. So at least I saw that. So he has some proof.
There's some proof of purchase.
There you go. Because it is a gentleman's game, so you want to take a man for his word.
You saying this in the era of AI, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Not with this app.
That's right.
Shout
So Braylon Edwards is out there finishing up his round. Let's hope it goes well. Let's hope he's in a good mood when he finally sits down. This is 2 times in the last 2 weeks where he's been playing in a golf outing, and Ricky, Kool-Aid, and I have been holding the fort down.
Hey.
But Kool-Aid is here with us, and we're glad. Ricky is here with us. We're glad. KG is in the area as well. And the reason we're here at the University of Michigan is because, every year there's more than 27,000 children in the United States of America diagnosed with a life-threatening condition. They need help. Well, guess what? A Kid Again serves children under the age of 20 to try and help them with their diseases and with their injuries. And it is a noble cause, and it's the reason that the host is out there playing golf as we speak. And we hope him, wish him well. And, of course, we wish this organization, kidagain.org, all the best as well. So over the weekend, good weekend for the most part, really hot, humid.
Hey, pretty good weekend.
What'd you enjoy most over the weekend? What was your guilty pleasure?
Hey, you know what? Actually, was getting together with the fellas at the studio. Terry Foster, Matthew Broder, Crash Out Willie B, did the Lions Weekly Update, and just kind of chilled afterwards, man, for a long time. We also did watch parties and such. So we finally got that Buddy's Pizza.
Oh.
The guilty pleasure. I've been waiting for this.
Of course.
The brisket pizza.
Yeah, of course, Ricky and I weren't
Blew
there,
my
so
mind.
You finally get the pizza at the watch party, but the people were doing it Monday through Friday, 2 till 4. There's nothing happening
I
there.
told Brandon, didn't I tell you we got to get Shep a
He gets
pizza?
no respect.
I did tell him that.
It's unbelievable. In year 3, I might get it in year 3. That's kind of how it works. But I'm glad you guys had fun. We want to talk some Lions. We want to talk a recent article about The Athletic as well that I think people will find very interesting. But first things first, Mark Stein, who writes for the New York Times and used to work for ESPN, is all over this possibility of Jalen Duren and Jaden Ivey being Pistons or not Pistons, since they are up for contract extensions after this coming season.
Yes, sir.
And the belief was because the Lakers were in the market for a big man, thought they had swung a deal to get one that was voided because of the physical. The reports are that they did make a phone call to the Detroit Pistons and seek the availability of Jalen Duren. The Pistons, if that's true, it's obvious that the Pistons said, you're not touching our guy. He's young. We've developed him. I love young and developed players. How would you feel if somebody else comes snooping around your back door to try and filter some of your young talent, including a guy like Jalen Duren?
That's the one where it gets a little bit like, yo, step back a little bit, man. Like, watch yourself. Man, shout out to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and he was teaching Ashley how to fight. And it was like, mind your business. That's all, just mind. That's where I'm at with Jalen Duren. Mark Stein, mind your business. Mark Stein, he touched on it. John Hollinger actually went into numbers And they effectively are stating that there might be a numbers difference between Jaden Ivey and the Pistons. But with Jalen Duren, everybody is on board with who he's supposed to be moving forward. And that's the one more than any that I'm saying, you know what, back up. I still want to see what both these young players can be. But I do know this. Jalen Duren and Jaden Ivey have been attracting a lot of eyes right now. Is, in my opinion, I think, how much do the Pistons value these players versus what the rest of the league is going to be willing to try and give up.
Yeah, but we can't be too hypocritical here. If we're going to tell teams to back up, but then we want to ask them how valuable you see our guys, then how can you tell them to back up? You're talking out of both sides of your mouth there.
Look, you got to always know, this has been my consistent refrain. Your players have to be valuable to you on your roster or in a trade deal because that's the NBA. That's basketball. Trades are a part of this thing.
Sports.
That's
not
sports.
Just the NBA. Everybody's snooping around. Everybody's trying to get better. I look at it as a compliment. The Lakers feel like they are in a position to get better and maybe win a championship. Mark Williams is a guy they tried to filter from Charlotte. It looked like everything was set until he failed to fill the physical. If they're coming knocking on your door for one of your young, good players, that tells you something about your players. I think it's great. I wouldn't want them to trade him.
No.
But I think that's really cool that other teams are looking at it and saying, you know what? That guy could be one of the pieces, not the final piece, but one of the pieces of what we want to accomplish here.
That does reassure me for these young guys because you want these young players to be able to step into the same light that you see Franz Wagner and Paulo Banchero. Those young guys are carrying and leading the winning. If those guys aren't right, Orlando isn't right. I want to see Jalen Duren step into that as well, and I do believe he is. We saw him take the necessary steps this year, in my opinion, to say, you know what, okay, this is a guy you can trust investing the money in, but there still are some things that scratch the surface, and that's where.
What's that money going to look like to you?
John Hollinger is saying that the value right now, if he was to get paid this year, he says he has his shortcomings as a defender and a decision maker, but he's a top 15 center in the league, still on the way up, and he says his board's values Duren at $25.3 million for the coming season. Mind you, Jared Allen did sign a 5-year, $20 million a year deal with Cleveland at a similar point in his development. And so you can think just inflation alone, Duren is going to get that 25. Jabari Smith got the 5 at 122, so just under 25 a year too.
If that's the going rate, then so be it. That's too steep for my blood for a guy. We can read into numbers all we want. But you're saying he took the necessary steps, and I would disagree with that. Because the necessary steps to be that much more of a threat is expand your offensive game. I like him as a defender. I don't love him. I like him as a defender. I love him as a rebounder. I'm sure he sets very good screens. J.B. Bickerstaff would know that better than we would.
Yeah, number one live connection, Cade and Duren.
Well, I'm just saying, when you're 6'11", you should be able to grab a lob and dunk it. I mean, okay, it's not 5'11", for crying out loud. I think we value our players, and I'm guilty of it too. We value our players a lot more than we probably should.
Oh yeah.
And if he's going to expand his game, and I don't want him taking threes, but aren't you a little tired of his range being 4 to 5 feet?
100%.
Well, where's the expansion?
No, listen. That we're preaching. We're all speaking the same language. This is the year that I want to see that type of stuff.
But why this year and not last year? You said he made the necessary steps.
For me to feel comfortable with where we are in the process. For me to feel comfortable with, okay, now I believe the instinctual aspect of a defender playing at the rim. I saw him get better. Effectively playing in the paint and being able to be a solid help side defender. These are some of the things I wanted to see out of Duren, as well as up until this year, I didn't see Duren consistently set any bone-jarring picks at all. The only player we had on our squad that could do that was Isaiah Stewart, and that's terrible when Jalen Duren, more times than not, is going to be the biggest player on the court, period, let alone on the Pistons. And so I wanted to see him be able to take those instinctual steps forward before we started to say, hey, let me see you get some offense, because I thought that's what doomed Drummond. They wanted to make him offensive player before they actually settled in on the base level of, of effectively rebounding. We knew he had, but the defense we know he had.
They actually encouraged Drummond to shoot threes. That's
what I'm saying.
I'm not looking for that from Jalen Duren. But if you're not going to be a threat to shoot from 10 feet, you are not very useful for many
pick and pop has to be a part of his development.
And the pick and pop, I'm not even asking 15. I don't think there's any excuse for an NBA quality talent to not be able to make 10-foot jumpers, okay? And he is not a threat to that. They back off him, okay? So when you're talking about making the necessary steps, that's the step that I was hoping for this past year. Doesn't mean I want to get rid of him. Doesn't mean that I don't like him.
Yeah.
And it sure as hell doesn't mean that I don't think he's advancing. I just thought it would be a lot further along because I think his offensive range continues to be limited.
That I agree with. I wanted his offensive development to be much further along, at least some type of a pet offensive move. If I ask anybody, what's Jalen Duren's pet offensive move? He literally has no go-to offensive move.
Right.
And that's terrible because he's not a rookie. We keep talking about young player when now we're about to give him what? North of $100 million potentially?
Oh, and by the way, on top of that,
I agree with you on
his
that
free throw shooting digressed. He made 73% 2 years ago. Last year he made 67%. So when you and I love it. Don't get me wrong. I think I think you like him. I think you like just about every player on this team. You have a hard time talking bad about any of them. And I don't think he made the necessary steps offensively. You bring up a really good point. If you're going to setting jarring screens, rebounding and all those other things. I'm not saying scoring's the only thing. I'm saying if I want to pay him that kind of money, he better be better. Bad way to phrase it. He better improve his offensive ability.
And I believe offensive ability and physicality on both ends of the court, because we shouldn't see a difference when Isaiah Stewart comes in off the bench and physical. We shouldn't be able to say, oh, man, there's a physicality and a toughness.
Yeah.
Our starting big man has to be able to have that as well. This is Detroit. This is what you have to be known as, man.
I don't care if it's Detroit. I don't care if it's Cleveland. I don't care if it's Boston. To me, that
some
the
teams,
grit stuff, the whole we're tough in Detroit. What that? You don't think they're supposed to be tough in Chicago?
There's some places that get it done in a finesse way. There's some places that don't get it done as brutal and as physical. But the Pistons, underneath the direction of J.B. Bickerstaff this year, stated, we are actually deliberately going out there to be more physical than everybody else. And that's where I want Jalen Duren to buy in completely to that message, because he is the biggest player on the team. He's walking around there looking like a miniature Incredible Hulk. I want to see him go out there and utilize that to his – I feel like just him playing and understanding he's the biggest player in the court is going to make him that much more confident on the offensive side.
I like him a lot.
Yeah.
Full stop, okay?
Definitely.
But, and to your point, I mean, I said rebounding. His rebounding actually went down last year. That increased, okay? Slightly went down. I'm
finally got to double-double status.
Okay,
averaging.
I'm not going to sit there and tell you that he shouldn't. Well, no, the year before he had double-double. He had 14 and 12 2 years ago.
Did he have that 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was 13.8 and 11.8. Okay, so that's back-to-back years double-double. I'm not sneezing at it. I think there's just too many people who compare him to Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond was an elite rebounder. Elite. Like, as good as we've seen in the last 25 years. He was that dominant inside.
Probably still underrated.
And I do not like how they basically gave him a free pass to do whatever he wanted offensively. However, the one thing you can say about him, and he was a terrible free throw shooter, but early on in his career, at this time in his career of Jalen Duren, he understood who he was and, to a certain extent, tried to expand his offensive game. My hope is that Jalen Duren is going to do a better job of expanding his offensive game. Am I asking for 50 free throw line, elbow jumpers? Maybe not necessarily. I don't think he should be Richard Hamilton, but my goodness, come on. We're limiting to 5 feet, and we're saying it's okay, and we're going to pay him $25 million. I think it's ridiculous.
There were times when Cat had 5 fouls and in the playoffs, and I remember sitting in media saying, attack. Because to start that game, I think KG and I talked about it. There was a play in the beginning of that game where Duren got the ball at the free throw line. We don't want him to turn around and shoot that, but what did he do? He surveyed one dribble to the rack against Cat and laid it up.
Yeah.
He didn't do that any other time throughout the game, and I just don't understand why his athleticism
and
his
he's become a better passer too. I
was about to get there too. From the free throw line, I do want to see, in addition to maybe some more comfortable pet moves closer to the rim, either a push floater, a 10-foot shot, or a back to the basket move, is more of that hub or point Duren, when you can throw the ball into him at the middle and allow him to turn around and survey for a few seconds and either swing the ball or make that pass, because you said it best. He is a really good passer.
I could buy that. Here's what I would say. I wouldn't jump to a conclusion. If I'm the Pistons, he's a young guy. I don't like giving up on young players. He's 21 years old. But it's an interesting time for his contract to come up. If I'm going to invest that much, I need more of a complete player. And that's why I expected it last year. I'm almost going to demand it this year. You have to be a threat from 10 to 12 feet.
We're in lockstep on that
Okay?
one.
Has to happen.
We're in
What else
lockstep.
has to happen? With the wind blowing like this, I really need a haircut. I realize that.
You're
I
fresh.
realize you can hear the music going. Ricky's got some of the music that I play. So this sounds like my playlist right now. I got to be honest. Okay, we want to keep things simple. Guy right next to me looks like an angry man. If he was sitting in a Lady Jane's chair right now getting a haircut, he would be a happy man.
I see
He
it
would
right
have a
there.
smile on his face, even beneath those deep FBI-like sunglasses. I'm telling you right now, you go to Lady Jane's, you sit in a comfy chair, you have a nice conversation with a lovely lady. It is simple, right? You walk in, you sign in, before you know it, you are out the door, smiling, kicking your heels, and ready for a hell of a day. Lady Jane's, it's open 10 till 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Attention sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join the doc every Tuesday during Big D Energy, every Thursday on the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep, where he offers top-notch injury advice. You guys got to trust the guy that D-Mac does. That is 4-time Stanley Cup champion winning Darren McCarty. He trusts Dr. Pierce, and you should too, because he's here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, make sure you go ahead and visit MichiganSportsAndSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. And we back.
In the words of Richard Hamilton, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back.
Hey, what's up.
We are live at the Michigan Golf Course for akidagain.org, helping children out there under the age of 20 who can't afford to get help medically, because there's close to 30,000 every year that they can't get help, and this is a great cause at a wonderful course. I don't know if you've ever played this track. I've played it a number of times. It's rock solid.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's really sharp. So Braylon Edwards will be here shortly once his round is done. He's Kool-Aid. I'm Matt Shepard. So
What up, though?
let's do the let's do the panic mode of Detroit Tigers baseball right now, okay? Ooh. Because when they were losing 12 of 13, they were up by 14 and a half, and it went down to 5 over the weekend. Friends of mine were beside themselves. Oh, my God, what's happening? How uncomfortable are you? I try to calm them down. I'm not that uncomfortable, okay? I think they're the best team in the division. I think they have the best talent in the division. I don't think they're the best team in baseball. Were they ever? I guess if you're looking at wins, if you looked at slugging, a lot of things change. I try to tell people this. Things change drastically in the world of sports. And it's funny how we don't learn. Because a year ago, look at how quickly things changed for the Tigers. For the good.
Yeah.
So I said on one of our early shows here with Braylon, who says it can't go the other way? In other words, you lose a big lead. Is Cleveland going to be around to bother Detroit like a gnat on, or a mosquito while you're playing golf? It could be. It could be. Have other teams surpassed them? You're damn right they have, because they're really good too. We just didn't see it early on. When Toronto was 22 up and 27 down in May, I'm sure people in Toronto were freaking out. And then suddenly they've got the most wins in the American League. Where do you think Tigers fans are right now, early August, knowing that you still have a month and a half left and the level of concern they have for this football?
Unless your name is Randall Smalls, I think every fan, or at least the majority of them, are out there starting to do more than sweat. You know, people are starting to unloosen the top buttons of the shirt. You're starting to unloosen the belt a little bit, you know, try and do everything they can to stave off the effects of anxiety. You know, we saw how quickly things turned last year, and I believe that this year we saw them in the first half of the season overcome so many things that we in the past we saw destabilize them, that we got very comfortable.
Like
they
what?
look like the
What
best.
did they overcome?
Whether Riley Green was on a slump, whether Spencer Torkelson, who started off hot and then he went into a slump, nothing mattered. Even Tarek Skubal wasn't Tarek Skubal to start the year. They got swept to start, but they were able still.
Well, that was one start for Tarek Skubal. Tarek Skubal's been
Right.
that guy all year long.
There was a couple starts that were just
But you're
a
gonna have
little
that.
less than.
But
yeah.
you're going to have that. I mean, I don't know about you.
Flaherty
I
wasn't-
don't expect my athletes to go out there and be perfect.
No, I don't either.
I don't expect Jared Goff to go 18 for 18 for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns and no picks. And I sure don't expect Riley Green to hit 300 with 35 bombs, 100 stakes, and do that on a linear basis all season long.
It got so rough for Riley Green at one point to start the season. Some people were wondering if minors were needed to be able to get him right. And that's what I'm saying. But they still, through all of that, were the number one team in baseball. And you know what, though? Even though you see some of these teams behind them creeping up in the AL, they are one game behind the Blue Jays.
I don't look at wins, though. I look at how they play, and I look at certain numbers that are trending. So, for example, if you're going to look at it that way, most of their capital was built up during that really good stretch when they were slugging and they were getting strikeouts and they were fielding and they were base running. The
bullpen was putting it together.
Right.
Yep.
Now it's vastly different. When you're 29th out of the bullpen and swing and miss, when your OBP and your slug and your OPS have gone down drastically before last week, not weekend, but before last week, then most of your capital was built up while they were playing well. Things left them all at once.
Yeah.
That was the concerning thing for me. We've gone over this. Toronto's got a better starting staff.
Yeah.
Seattle's got a better starting staff. If you want to go into the National League, you can look at Philadelphia. You can look at the Dodgers. You can look at Milwaukee. You can look at, I wouldn't say the Mets, because the Mets have dropped 11. Look, you talk about Riley Green. Francisco Lindor is in a massive slump right now, a horrifying slump, and that's a team that has lost 11 of its last 12 and dropped 5.5 back of the Philadelphia Phillies in the NL East. So it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if people have kind of taken a step back, recognized what this team is, and at the same time also recognized other teams are really good right now. Seattle is playing really good ball. They've won 7 straight.
Yeah.
Milwaukee's
9 of 10.
won 9 in a row.
Yep.
I mean, these teams have a lot of different things clicking, and I don't think Kool-Aid, the day of or the time of year helps either. If this were early June, it's like Earl Weaver once said. He's like, you don't give a damn what happened in July. You don't give a damn what I did in May or my team did in May. I don't think Detroit should give a damn what happened in May or June. If this were June, it'd be one thing. But because it's happening in August and teams are starting to play better, that's what's got people most concerned.
Because the teams are starting to play better, it makes you look just a little bit. But there was something else that you mentioned there that actually does raise a little bit more concern than when you just look at the standings and you see, okay, that cushion still has them just one back of the number one record in all the AL, and that's the starting pitching. Because this isn't about what they do in the regular season. Realistically, obviously, we want them to be able to give themselves the best opportunity, go out there and win the Central. But that starting pitching has been something that I've questioned after about the first couple months of the season. I thought we were
when
solid.
Jackson Jobe went down, that was a big piece.
Jackson Jobe going down, Flaherty being kind of good, like okay Flaherty, and then okay, and then If you can't depend on him to be at least your third, I think you got some serious problems. And that was during the time when we thought we got Casey Mize. He's finally figured it out. Now we're sitting here, and you've been saying it before I wanted to be able to admit it, and I have had to accept this over the last 2 weeks. We don't have a 2. We don't got a 3. We don't. What is the lineup? And that, to me, is where I think my concern really sets. Do I think this team can definitely pedal this through the regular season, yes.
Yeah.
But what happens when you get to the postseason? Are we taxing the hell out of Tarek Skubal again?
Yeah.
That to me is
which
where
I
it
think
does
is a
get little,
slight misnomer. I think he threw 13 innings in the series, or in the was it the
that
series
Guardians
against Cleveland. Yeah,
Cleveland.
Which is not a lot. Okay, I mean, I have no problem taxing my ace in the postseason when he's the best pitcher on the planet. None whatsoever. If you can't, after, I think he threw 190 innings last year. I don't want to go old school stuff again, but if you're throwing 170, 180 innings, and then I have to, quote unquote, tax you
be able to
by
go in the
throwing
playoffs.
7 innings,
I get you.
enough. If you say this is what I live for, this is what it's all about, this is what I've dreamed of, I want that game-winning drive as a quarterback. I want to be at the free throw line, Ramil Robinson, when things are on the line. I want to be the guy on the bump in Game 7 of the World Series. Then stop with the taxing of guys. Because Bob Gibson wasn't taxed, Mickey Lolich wasn't taxed, Justin Verlander wasn't taxed, Kurt Schilling wasn't taxed, Randy Johnson wasn't taxed. You want to be them? Go be them.
The one difference is their rotations were much better than what we see out of the Tigers right now. And if they have to put more on Skubal as the regular season goes on, and then each and every round run him through the gauntlet because maybe the other starters aren't as dependable, that is something where if you want a World Series run, where I do wonder, having a more strong rotation, doing something at that deadline, you begged for it.
Who had a better rotation?
You begged for it.
Who are you referring to?
Justin Verlander had a much better rotation in the playoffs. He had much better pitching around him in that starting.
In 2006, he had Kenny Rogers, Jeremy Bonderman, and Nate Roberts.
It's bad. That's what I was about to say. I was about to when you said it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that might be better than right now. Like, really? Seriously, in terms of what we can depend on, I don't know if we can depend on what we have. Tarek Skubal is the only person that I know. Okay, this guy's going to go out there.
Charlie Morton's proven in the postseason. Okay, now
Morton,
you got to tell me,
newcomer. Yeah.
Are you? Well, he's still there.
Yeah.
He's still wearing a Tigers jersey. Last time I checked.
Yes.
Okay, he's got 2 World Series rings. Last time I checked. So if that's one of those situations where you're worried about whether they can get it done, but Tarek Skubal hasn't necessarily, quote-unquote, gotten it done in the playoffs, and I believe he will because I think he's the best pitcher on the planet, then which one are you weighing more? Because if you're weighing the postseason experience, you're going with Charlie Morton. If you're going with a full arsenal of starting pitchers and you think that 2006 staff was better than this staff, Casey Mize with 11 wins, and he's been – and it wasn't great last time out, but I would say he's been pretty good. I'd take him as a 3-starter, okay? If you're looking for the 2, it's a great question. I think it would be Charlie Morton if it started today, even though he kind of got blown up the last time out, had 10 strikeouts, and then had a bad inning and things went wayward. It's the Jack Flaherty thing is what it is. If you're picking one really guy who needs to pick it up the remaining month and a half, it's Jack Flaherty, not just because he's the starting pitcher, because you're paying him $25 million.
That was the piece that we thought.
So
you know what?
Done talking about Jalen Duran paying $25 million. We were paying Jack Flaherty $25 million, and he's doubled his losses than wins.
That was supposed to be one of the X factors this year.
That's right.
That was supposed to be. It was supposed to be a double whammy of an X factor after last year's trade deadline, and now you're sitting here, and that was the one for me all year. I continue to say for most of the season, Jack Flaherty is the key. That is the key. That is the key. And now, when you're looking at what the Tigers can do in the regular season, I am okay with some of the things they did at the trade deadline because it gives them a little bit more, makes me a little bit more comfortable. But I am still like, is this enough for a World Series run? Is this enough? I know how good and how dominant Tarek Skubal is.
Most people would say no.
But is it enough for World Series run?
Most people would say no. Remember this. Reese Olson healthy, you're not trading for Chris Paddock. I don't believe.
Man, Reese.
On the other hand, you are trading for Chris Paddock and Reese Olson was healthy, you wouldn't have probably claimed Charlie Morton. So I think Reese Olson, and it had, again, non-proven, but a guy who needed to stay healthy. I'm not saying I would throw all my chips into the middle of the table for a Jackson Jobe. He was an effective pitcher, okay? And I would feel good with him at the back end of my starting rotation.
Yeah.
I'll go back to what I've said for a long time, and I'll keep hammering this. This is why I wanted a top-tier starting pitcher and why I wanted a top-tier back-end reliever.
Hey, look, he's not just saying this right now.
Yeah.
You had the whole plan. He was emailing it. He was texting it. He presented it well before the trade deadline. That's why I said, you know what? You were ahead of the curve. When I thought that we at least had 2+, maybe 2.5 starting pitchers, you were like, they got to go out there and get another one.
Yeah, well, I thought that was the need, but this is what they got. Let's see what they have moving forward. They should get very well, very healthy against Chicago and Minnesota, although Minnesota just beat them in a series. Chicago played them to an even draw in the 4-game set earlier this year. We're going to take a quick time out here live at the Michigan Golf Course on the Braylon Edwards Show, and when we come back, we are going to talk a little bit about the Lions preseason game number 2, and then at the top of the hour, top of the 3 o'clock hour, very interesting conversation to be had about a fascinating piece in The Athletic about tiering quarterbacks as much as anything else. Where does your man Jared Goff stand according to members of The Athletic? We'll explain about that at 3 o'clock hour.
Elite Jared Goff?
Elite Jared Goff. In the
Let's
meantime, I get to make myself even hungrier and hungrier here at the golf course. You know, when we do these, I always say,
we got to
make
get
sure we
Shep
got
this
something
pizza.
to drink, and let's make sure we got something to eat. I've got something to drink, and it feels good. The eating part is up to Buddies.
Look at Brendan.
And Buddies and Pizza want brisket, brew, and rendezvous with you. Try their new barbecue brisket pizza, barbecue chicken salad, a refreshing Buddy Brew or Summy Shandy, and the summer sundae, and you are set. All at your neighborhood Buddies or BuddiesPizza.com. Pretty easy. Don't forget, Buddies is more than just pizza. They've got sliders, too. Their new Smash Stacks. Burgers done the Detroit-style way. Square slice, smash stack, full flavor. Only at Buddy's Pizza. Go to BuddiesPizza.com.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app online or in club and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app online or in club and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
I like that. You bring me back with this kind of music, I'm all over it, man. It's like a bum on a cheese sandwich.
I did it on purpose just for you, Shep.
I appreciate that very much. Now I'm fired up. On the way here, I'm driving down M14 and I see this Hummer, okay? This Hummer EV SUT, and I'm thinking, Les Stanford, baby. Is that where they got it? Good-looking ride and a good-looking price.
Let's go.
At Les Stanford Buick and GMC. Great offers for everybody, including that vehicle I just mentioned, for $599 a month plus tax. Or try out the 2025 Hummer EV SUT lease special, $699 a month. Don't forget the Sierra Double Cab 2025 edition of the Elevation. The lease special is $169 a month. That's real. Get to Les Stanford today. Check out their massive inventory. Les Stanford Buick and GMC for all these specials. Go to their website, lesstanford.com.
If we back, you know what, Shep? I think you would look dope in that EV Hummer. There used to be a time where getting that Hummer, It make too much sense because it was what, like 7 miles per gallon? But now you got the EV.
Yeah.
Fill it up for maybe, what, $20, and you can go like 300 miles.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because I was out to dinner with my wife on Saturday and 2 other friends of ours. And we're in Birmingham, not too far from our studio.
Hey, shout out.
And shout out to what?
Hey, the studios.
Oh, the studios, yeah. And I see all these cars driving by, and I'm like, man, Corvette after Corvette, all these high-end cars. And you see, I must have seen about 6, 7 Hummers. We were dining outside. I'm like, wow, man, these cars are unbelievable. It's hard when you're in that area to turn your head a little bit because of how many nice cars there are.
Yeah, no, seriously.
It's everywhere, right?
And nice, nice cars.
Shout out, Ricky.
Talk about the nice cars.
And the Hummers, the Hummers are fantastic. I mean, they just look really sharp.
They got the deals. The deals people are getting on them.
Yeah, man, the view.
Well, the Les Stanford deal, $5.99 a month plus tax, $6.99.
It's a fair and honest
overall.
deal.
Yeah, I like that. Fair and honest deal. Amen to that.
Yeah, he not even lying though. We were up on the. He was up on the up on the desk doing the show, and then what? Your 67 was it? Chevy
69 vet.
69 vet pulled up. He was like, "Oh my gosh!" He was in the middle of a read and was like, "Oh, I see the car over there," and then right back to the read. As a true professional.
It's such a good-looking ride.
It's funny. When I was younger, I didn't really understand that. As I get older, I think it's because they make cars look like robots now that I find myself appreciating older cars.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that because we're going to be knee-deep into the Woodward Dream Cruise, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it's really all about. Like,
yes, sir.
Like even the cars, you guys are way too young, but when I was a little kid, even some of those ugly, what I thought was an ugly car back then is now like a Pontiac Le Mans.
You got some appreciation.
It's now a really good-looking car today.
That's a perfect example of Le Mans, yes. Yeah. Like now you see,
I was driving behind a burgundy Lincoln Continental, and it was from the 70s, right, with the spare tire look in the back trunk. When I was a kid, I looked at that and I went, man, is that an ugly-ass car? And now you look at it, I'm like, you know what? That's a pretty good-looking ride
I
right
like
now.
that. Yeah, it's something about
It's amazing how your opinions can change a little bit.
I think Ricky is onto something because everything is looking like robotic, kind of futuristic.
Like
we in the
cars
Jetsons.
look more foreign now, and the foreign cars look more American to me.
Yeah.
It's like there's no more muscle or nothing mean. Not all of them, but some of them.
I did enjoy. I was driving down Woodward. They've already begun. As you guys know, right? I mean, when people say the Dream Cruise is this weekend, I'm like, no, it's not. It's really 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's good for the economy and it's really good for our area. But already they have found a massive parking lot for the Corvettes, and the Corvettes are everywhere. And it's like, oh man, I love that stuff.
Yeah,
Bring it on. I want to go hang out with those people just to see if they'll allow me to drive one of their cars.
I was gonna say, like, especially on the weekends, Friday when we were leaving the watch party, right? All up and down Woodward, man. All up and down. It's just so many nice cars. Some
and
of
you
these
were
people,
full because you ate Buddy's.
Yeah. Shout out to Buddy's Pizza, man. The barbecue brisket pizza. Shout out to them. But it was epic, man. And you know what? I want to be able to take a car out there. But I feel like I would get embarrassed if I take my car out there.
I don't have a car that could fit out there.
Yeah.
I
want to do the Dream Cruise one day, but I'm like, I don't have a car that can roll.
Yeah, why not? It's all about the confidence.
Well, you're not gonna. You can drive down the street,
man.
but they're not gonna be looking at you.
Yeah.
They're gonna be looking at the car in front of you and the car behind you.
Yeah.
Wind is really picking up. Braylon will use the wind picking up as a reason he didn't break in. That's just a guess.
Shout out to Bray.
Listen, the Detroit Lions played the Atlanta Falcons the other night. It was a win. That's secondary. The injury was first and foremost, but besides the injury to Norris, the real story was about the quarterback and Hendon Hooker. Now, look, we get so wrapped up. I don't think Detroit's the only city that gets wrapped up in their backup quarterbacks. But my goodness. I mean,
it's the most popular position in Detroit sports history.
That and the backup goalie for the Red Wings. It's amazing to me, really amazing to me, how quickly we decide on a player. We didn't really see much of Hendon Hooker a year ago. 2 years ago, he was injured. So didn't see him at all last year. And I know the question would be, how come he's not good enough to at least get some snaps? And then the Teddy Bridgewater thing in the postseason was really telling.
That was tough. Yeah.
So really what we're seeing him, we're trying to judge him based on 2 preseason games right now. And let's be honest with each other. He was pulled. That's a starting pitcher getting pulled in the 5th inning. He got pulled in that preseason game against Atlanta. Do you think people are done with Hendon Hooker?
It looked like Hendon Hooker might be done with Hendon Hooker.
Boy.
That face on the sideline just told it all. We were on the watch party talking about it, man. He was just there like it was one of those zone out meme type things. And I hope he's not done. I'm hoping pulling him was just to get him out of the fire, get your head right, because you got just a little bit longer to be able to prove yourself. And Ricky's just shaking his head no. He looks like he thinks it's done.
He had the boo-boo face.
Yeah,
That's
he
what
did.
Call that, the boo-boo face.
Goodness.
When I knew it was over when Coach Bridgewater stepped out on that field last year. I knew there was a reason they called him out there. That's wild. Pull a guy off.
Well, no, high school head coach.
High school state championship coach. I don't care. That's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed.
But who was it? Was it Indy who pulled Joe Flacco off the bench or off the couch, or was it Cleveland? It was Cleveland, then Indy, now back to Cleveland, right?
Oh yeah.
So how is that any different? Perhaps
did they pull him? But wasn't that for injury? Didn't they pull him? Did they start him over a person who was already there? Or was it a last-ditch effort?
It was because of injury with Deshaun Watson. So fair enough. But
did he jump the line?
He did jump the line. But in fairness, Teddy Bridgewater came in to had a handoff, and it was just holding the line for Jared Goff getting out from underneath the big blue tent.
Nah, I get it. But still, Hendon Hooker couldn't even do that.
Yeah, right.
That's the one I can do that. You put me in the football, I can hand it off. Like, I may not be able to get a pass off. Yeah. I may not be able to get a catch like Braylon.
You might pee your pants
first. I can hand it. Yeah, I'm not gonna no, not to hand it off because I'm not gonna stop. I'm just gonna keep running.
But you still gotta get the ball. You gotta get the ball.
Yeah, no, shotgun.
I like this.
You still gotta handle it.
Shotgun.
Well, there's some guy spitting mad on the outside
side. Come on, Shep. I catch a shotgun, hand it off. That's it.
That's good.
That's the extent.
Yeah. I see the chat too, man. Shua in the chat says, "I've been done with Hendon Hooker since last year." Okay. So he's like you, Ricky. He says, them bringing in Teddy Bridgewater because they don't trust him was enough for me to understand what's happening behind closed doors. And Denzel believes that Hendon Hooker is headed to the UFL.
I mean, that would be
come on, guys. Come on.
We use that word trust a lot, and I think all of them in the chat are dead on there. They're not trustworthy of what he can do. He looks like he's unsure of himself.
And that's crazy because what is it? This is year 3 now.
Yeah, this is year 3. It's a slightly different offense, but you're right. You're right. I mean, you've had all year long to study it. But when he gets, I don't care how he looks in practice, man. Okay?
JJ's getting his start year 2.
Hey, I don't want to bring this up, but Shadur Sanders looked pretty good in his first start.
Yeah, legendary. Would you say it's legendary?
It's preseason. They might want to retire his number there in Cleveland. I don't want to go overboard with him or Jackson Dart in New York, okay? And I don't want to talk about how bad Quinn Ewers was either, because he was pretty good at Texas. But you would think a guy who's been within the program for as long as Hendon Hooker has, that he would look more comfortable and more commanding. I think that's a big deal. I think other players, if you talk to NFL players, I talk to any college football player, they'll tell you when they're in that huddle, they want to hear, and this isn't just offense, by the way. This is defense, too. If you're mumbling, if you're stumbling through everything you're supposed to do, and you can't be sure and confident in relaying that message to your team, then your team's going to have a hard time implementing.
Because if this was just Hendon Hooker is under duress, they just were like all-out pressure, then we say, okay, they needed a better game plan. This was a situation where he didn't look comfortable, period. And you're not the first person I've heard say that. Ever since that game, I was talking to Terry Foster Sunday at the Lions Weekly Update show, talking to a couple other people while we were sitting at the watch party, and everyone's like, yo, he doesn't look like he's comfortable. I don't know if it's the offense, if it's the terminology. I don't know what it is, but he just didn't look like he even understood how to utilize his athleticism. And then you see Allen get into the game and do what? Actually look like a mobile quarterback.
Yeah, Kyle Allen was pretty good. I didn't think Kyle Allen looked that badly in his first preseason game either. So I might have been in the minority in that regard. But I can tell you
were a little ahead of the curve.
There has not been a big difference between Hendon Hooker's game 1 and game 2. And that's an issue, all right? When you have a guy who is supposed to instill confidence in your backups that I want to win this job, then something's got to be done about that, and he has not been able to seize that moment. And then you got to ask yourself, is the moment too big? And a lot of people would say yes, Kool-Aid, right now. It seems like the moment is too big. Kyle Allen's been there, done that, Okay? And I'm not saying he's the best backup in the NFL.
No, but he looked a lot more comfortable.
Even when he doesn't do well.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times when you watch a player, when you watch an athlete, you can tell as much about them when they struggle as you can when they're successful.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So if I got Steph Curry, who's 0 for his first 8, and that probably never has happened in his career, if he keeps shooting and then suddenly you look up at the score and you're like, holy crap, Steph Curry's got 28 points. Yeah, you know why? Because he kept shooting. He believed in himself.
Yeah, I'll give him a whole another 20 shots. Oh, you're 0 for 20? Take another 20.
Right. But then you fall into this trap, I think. That same person will go, well, wait a minute, if they lose and he continues to struggle, why do you keep shooting that when you know you're not hitting it? That's a really fine line, right? Why is Hendon Hooker still trying to pass downfield when he's getting all kinds of pressure? Just dump it off and get a rhythm.
That's the aspect of being able to control your huddle, being able to, honestly, instinctually, who are you as a quarterback? Do you know your position and are you comfortable in it? This guy just didn't look like he was comfortable with it, and you have a lot of ability to be able to get out of the pocket and move. That, to me, is where I'm like, okay, if all else fails, break glass and run. And I just didn't even see that. Like the 1 or 2 times I saw him try to run against, in the previous game against the Falcons, he took just too long. We're sitting there like, yo, there's a seam, go, 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 and then you see him look, and then he looks just really disheveled for a second, then tries to take off running, and it looks like he left his legs behind him.
Yeah, I think you're 100%
it was
right
just
there.
Tough.
I felt the same way, but I always have to remind myself, I'm watching from a high 50. Okay, I'm watching it on a TV camera, for crying out loud. I'm not watching it with 4 300-pound men with their arms up in the air,
right, you gotta
screaming,
look
"I want to kill you" and everything. It's easy for me to say.
There's
a lane right there. Just take the lane.
Take it. It's
when
right there.
He's looking downfield. First of all, we have the luxury of going, boy, wouldn't it be easy to just run there? Yeah, if he's looking there, he's looking downfield.
But you know it don't help that Kyle Allen got in the game and literally hit that seam right away.
Yeah.
It doesn't help.
But
you are right.
Maybe they took away a couple of the reads. I don't know, but I hear what you're saying, and I think I agree with 95% of what you're saying. The thing about this, it's not even an experiment; it's an investment, right?
Yeah.
This third-round investment has not paid off, and what has made me worry about it is the football IQ, and that's where I start to wonder about a few things. There's so much more to the position and so much more to what he was doing than we ever will realize. The amount of reads that he has, the amount of things that has to go through his mind, but it doesn't seem like it computes real quick with Hendon Hooker, whereas with Jared Goff, it's a second nature. Even Kyle Allen, it looks like, even when he makes a bad play, it looks like he's kind of making the right play, if you get my point.
To the point that even when all the turnovers, getting behind the 8 ball, so to speak, against the Houston Texans, we still sat there saying we're going to come back. Against the Bears, we still sat there saying we're going to come back. Even though Jared Goff didn't quite have the start to the game or even the first half or first 3 quarters that we would have wanted. But we still felt like he has a command of the offense. He's going to work through this. Sometimes a team just has your number. They can dial up something, and you're going to figure it out. And Jared Goff routinely says that. He'll go. And we called this out. We used to clip this. They were going to the halftime sometimes struggling. We're like, you know what? We're going to go to halftime. We're going to figure this out. And then they would talk to him after the game. Yep, we saw what they were trying to do. We figured it out, and we looked like a well-oiled machine the rest of the way. Yeah. And that confidence exudes to the point that I don't have those concerns with a guy like Jared Goff. Obviously, that's why he's our starter, top 5 MVP voting this past year. You would like to know, though, that Hendon Hooker, a guy that they did invest in, a guy that they did take with a pretty good, what we thought to be him having some type of future here. I know there was a lot of people who believed Hendon Hooker was going to be the heir apparent to whoever was going to be that next quarterback.
Well, that's what people are hoping, right?
Yeah, and that's why we brought him here. I got a quick question. What year did Goff go to what year in his career did he go to the Super Bowl? And what year?
I think it was his 3rd year in the
That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. Mm-hmm. And what year do you think a quarterback should, like you said, look comfortable, look like he can command this offense? I would think around year 3. That would be my guess.
Yeah, I think a lot depends on how much playing time you get. I'm sure, because Hendon Hooker could be very comfortable with the offense, but it's the defense that's given them the problems. So that's a possibility. Number one. Number two, I don't like to put any time limits on anybody because Peyton Manning took over year one. He looked pretty comfortable, even though he threw a league-high number 20 interceptions, right, with 27 or whatever it was, which I believe is still a rookie record. Guys who get into a certain system, my guess was the Lions drafted him for a lot of different reasons. But one of those reasons is he fits what they want to do. And it feels like, to me, well, outsider's point of view, feels like to me he does things that he's not comfortable with the system. He's not comfortable running what they expect him to run. Mm-hmm. And that, to me, is as big a concern as anything else right now. Because he's obviously athletic, okay? There's been plenty of what he's done in his career that has warranted that third-round choice, right? And yet, it's right now, it's a swing and a miss. But you know what? It could have been worse. I'm not trying to diffuse this situation. Could have been the Trey Lance situation. Trey Lance was drafted 3rd overall.
Or we could have been losing. That's what made it worse. I think that would have made it worse if we were a losing team.
Yeah, and then you're counting on him.
Yeah, we would have been bad.
There were people, I mean, listen, let's be for real. We go back just a couple years ago, and there were people who thought Hendon Hooker was the future.
Yeah.
Literally the future starting quarterback for the Detroit Lions. There were some people who believed you didn't have to give Goff the big contract
that's
because you had a
surprising
Hendon
to me.
Hooker.
I don't know what those people were thinking.
That was a
really
time, bro.
Jared Goff's a really good quarterback, okay? You know, everybody wants a top 10 quarterback. You have one. You've had one for a while, okay? If you think about that, Stafford was a top 10, Goff's a top 10.
Yes.
That's not a bad situation to be in. Doesn't always equate to wins. I get that. But that's what we've cried forever during the Gary Danielson years, during the Eric Kramer years, during the Rodney Peete years, and the Mike McMahon and the Joey Harrington and all this other crap. I want a top 10 quarterback. You've got one. And now you want Hendon Hooker? Because you drafted him? That's a little surprising to me.
Oh,
you know
boy,
what I'm
be
saying?
easy.
Yeah, we got a Braylon Edwards.
1-7.
How come he's carrying his own bag? That's first and foremost.
Shout out to Braylon, dog.
Boy, he
went caddyless.
College hunks holding junk.
Look at that. The tees are falling
on his
out.
home
He's
turf.
taking the glove off. All his clubs, he doesn't have his driver covered. He may have lost the driver cover somewhere on the course somewhere.
Every time I take my driver cover off and put it back on, I think of Braylon Edwards. I know he hates it.
I put my driver cover back on after every single time I drive.
I do too. I thought that's what you were supposed to do.
He doesn't?
Yeah, he said he doesn't. He said he takes it off and throws, which my brother-in-law does the same thing. He takes it off and throws it in the cart. It just goes. But, like, I always have drinks in the back, so usually that gets wet.
That's a stunner. The thing, here's the – can I give you just one pet peeve of mine on the golf course? Well, there's a lot of pet peeves, but one of them is the guys who cover their irons with –
Yeah, if you're not traveling, that's a no-no.
I don't even cover them when I'm traveling. I put them in a travel bag. But I don't have covers for my irons. Do you?
Not for the irons? No.
Just the hybrids and driver.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah,
I got it for the woods. That's it.
That's too much. That's too much.
And so guys who cover their irons with, who have head covers for their irons, I think it looks pretty geeky.
Yeah, I don't see the point. I feel like that's just a lot.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, that's too much.
For your caddy, if it's not for you. It just seems like a lot.
I've never had a caddy, so yeah, it's all me.
Yeah. I've had caddies.
Brendan,
usually it's pretty helpful.
I was going to say, Brendan, I know you've done some work on golf courses. Have you seen that? Do you see that a lot? Where they use the covers for the
irons?
Do I see what? The covers?
Covers
no,
for the irons?
You can't have iron covers.
All right. Yeah,
my dad tried to get iron covers for his. He came home with all these covers for his irons, and I told him,
talk to him, man.
That's not what a real golfer has. Even the pros. The pros aren't having.
Right. That's the point. I've never seen
Aaron
Rye.
I think Aaron Rye is the only one who does it.
Irons, then you should.
Aaron Rye is the only one who does it.
I don't see.
He also does the 2 gloves.
Yeah, but he does that for a reason. Yeah, I think when he was little, he did that, and I don't know if it was because it was cold or what, or he had a hard time gripping. But yeah, it's just something he's always done. I don't mind the 2 gloves thing, but the iron covers, it seems like it's a little much for me.
Same here. Yeah, I do like to keep my driver cover on, especially just because I got a new driver. You like to keep that thing as pristine as possible. But the iron covers, that's a no-go.
Yeah. All right. When we come back, Braylon Edwards joins his own show. I want to hear about his round.
You got Jax.
But also we have This is live, but also we're going to give you this article from The Athletic has broken quarterbacks down into tier. I know Braylon's going to have a bit of an issue with some of it, and I welcome his expertise when we come back.
Hey, but look, if you're looking for a sparkling clean ride, Woodward Sports and Jack's Car Wash have partnered to hook you up with a free car wash. Just text WSN, again, WSN to this number, 888-522-1729, and enjoy top-tier service with free vacuums, compressed air, and matte cleaning rooms at select locations. Wash at any of our 40-plus locations just twice a month, and the membership, it pays for itself. Upgrades for interior cleaning and detailing at 8 different locations across the great state of Pure Michigan. Go to www.jackscarwash.com to see a location near you. Don't wait. Text now and shine on.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
And we are back. Black Rock's 8 weeks to give away. It rolls now into week 4. Last week's winner, the new Traeger grill, Brian Anderson. I told you guys about scanning that QR code. You can't see it above my head, but it is there. Scan that QR code. And if you cannot, actually you can. QR code is above my head. Every entry also gets you a shot. Grand prize, 4 tickets to the home opener. Talking about the Big Ten season open. That is September 14th. You want to get into this contest at 2 around the city of Detroit, the helicopter ride. It's going to be a special prize. You, lovely lady, lovely man, doesn't matter. Have a great time. Scan the QR code above my head and get activated.
And we back.
We're back. How many different Michigan hats do you have?
A lot. I tend to get, because every year I'm probably picking up 5, 6, 7 new hats. Crazy. Golf season, you pick up 3, 4, pick up 2 new fitteds. Jordan.
So
you have to have those.
In from the course, and it's a great cause, akidagain.org, on a beautiful course. I love this course. How'd you do today?
I'm over scrambles. I'm over scrambles. I'm at the point playing in a lot of these outings for great causes. Nonetheless, I love being there. I love showing up. I love getting a chance to meet Brock and Brandon, who we partner with Black Rock, as well as Andy, who we partner with in another different venture. Love those guys. Love the partners that we have. You only get a chance to hit 4 or 5 clubs. Like when you're playing your own ball, boom, I get a ball out there. It's in the, it's in the rough. It's 142 out. I'm pulling out my 9-iron. You just can do a lot of different things. In a scramble, there's a drive, there's a 140 shot, there's a putt, and then maybe 60 degree if you're off too far. That's it. That's all you're using. So it messes up your golf swing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think golf is a very rhythmic sport.
Yeah,
I think a lot of sports are, right? And I think you got to have the ability to either find that rhythm or once you get out of it, reclaim the rhythm. Yeah. I think that's tough to do in a scramble.
Yeah, you can't. And then it's like you start looking at the scoreboard, leaderboard. You always know that somewhere between 17 to 14 is going to be the winning team.
Yeah.
So you look up 4 or 5 holes in, you have 1 birdie. You start counting down. All right, if we don't birdie this one, if we don't birdie out, let's just get 10.
How'd you finish?
We finished 5 under.
5 under. I was inside talking to a guy. I said, how'd you enjoy it? He goes, we were 8 over. I'm like, ooh, that's not going to win any scrambles.
This course is that's one thing I remember about playing here when I was in school as well as now. It's unnecessarily tough. Like, the pin placement is legitimately impossible. Yeah. The greens are as fast as I don't know what. And then just the holes themselves, like the dog leg left on hole number 3, it is an inverted 90-yard hill. Like, soon as you turn on a 90-degree angle turn, it's this course is, whoever designed it, he was pissed at the world.
It's a Donald Ross course, isn't it?
100%.
I believe, yeah, Donald Ross course. That's really cool. Yeah. I noticed you came in with your own bag. Yes. And you didn't have a head cover on the driver. What happened?
So, full disclosure, my truck just got picked up. There was a recall on my truck last Friday, so they came and picked my truck up. My club head is in that truck.
Oh,
it's not in the rental. So you're absolutely correct. That would have been disrespectful not to have a club cover. But
well, because I know you're one of those guys who doesn't put his head cover on every time you hit.
I do not.
So you leave it off. I always do because – my driving is not great when I'm driving a golf cart, and you can hear, and not many golf carts, not many golf courses have really smooth pathways. Yeah. So I'm afraid the club's going to bang into one another, and it's going to scratch it up. That's the reason I always put it back on. Doesn't mean that it's going to be really good. Did you have a good weekend? I mean, I know you get the golf today, but how about the weekend in general? How was it?
Weekend was tough. Dealt with a loss, man, to kind of rock the weekend a little bit. In that regard, slowed it down a little bit. Had to be there for a loved one, so that was tough. I appreciate that. But it was good. It was very relaxing. Outside of that, it was chill. Went to a concert on Friday. Played some golf on Saturday at Dearborn Country Club. A lot of trees.
I like that course.
A lot of trees.
Yeah.
You can get through them, but it's a lot of trees.
Yeah, well, they're 90% air. At least that's what they tell me. The Lions, Kool-Aid and I were talking about the Lions a little bit, and then we're going to get into this tiered system by the Athletic of quarterbacks. When you're on the field of play and somebody suffers a severe injury, I get it, you can't stop the game during the regular season, but during the preseason, what the Lions and Falcons did, I thought it was the right thing to do in honor of Morris, but also it's hard to fathom those guys getting all fired up to try and hit one another again after something like that. What was your overall read on that situation?
Yeah, and I love that choice. I love that decision. I think with the Damar Hamlin situation a couple of years ago, I think the NFL as well as the fan base society, we got a dose of what it looks like and what it could like this game we played, the physicality of this game and what it could lead to. So I think that moment kind of opened the door for moments like this where, boom, guy goes down. Let's stop the game. Let's get everybody relaxed and chill because these individuals, they play a game in which at any given moment they can take their lives. And I know that sounds crazy. It is true. People have died on the NFL gridiron. So now that they show that in that moment, it's respect. Hey, look, let's take a moment to remember life is more important than this touchdown or who's going to win this game. So I felt that vibe, and the crowd responded well.
Were you surprised they did it that way? I don't know if I've ever seen that.
No, I am not now. Okay. I think it goes back to that Damar Hamlin situation. A lot was made of what they were trying to do and what they weren't trying to do and what that was supposed to move, and people reacted to that. People never want to see that play again. They want to see the respect. And I think the NFL took notice. I think the NFL is taking some notice of things that people have pointed out over the years. I think they're trying to do a better job, whether it's the safety of the game, whether it's just the impact of the game, whether it's certain things not to focus on, whether it's just how they coach their players and they're being better. So I think that the NFL is trying to go the right way as it relates to taking care of the players safety-wise.
If you were a veteran on the Lions, what would you say to Hendon Hooker today?
You got to figure it out. You got to figure it out. Like when you're a player drafted hurt, like if you're not a first-round player that's drafted hurt, you're already, the clock's ticking. Clock's ticking in terms of you picking up the system, in terms of you figuring out, in terms of you showing yourself to a point where we need you. You're a necessity at whatever position. So this is a guy that is going into year 3. They're trying to give him the secondary job. Brad Holmes is very loyal to the guys that he drafts.
They want him to win it.
They want him to win. They're giving him every opportunity. Dan Campbell has talked about him. I mean, they want this guy to win. But every time they put him out there, he is uncertain at the job. Is uncertain at the job, and sometimes I know Lions fans out there, just wait, just give him a moment. No, when this thing does not work, when you see that it does not work, whether it was last year where they chose to go with Teddy Bridgewater as opposed to make him the backup option in the playoffs, whether it's him struggling in the first game and you knocking it off to, it's the Hall of Fame game, and then here we go in this game as well, 2 turnovers. Like, when you know that a guy, and then the same system, the third-string quarterback, he comes in and he has a different type of outing, a more successful outing. It's tough, but you have to disassociate yourself with certain things.
Full disclosure, if you missed it last week, Braylon predicted Zadarius Smith will be a Lion by this time next week. Not on Monday, but by this time. So he was giving the Lions this week and Zadarius Smith this week, and he feels like he will sign with the Lions by next week. How much could that be impeded if they felt like they had to go out and get a quarterback? Because we're not even sure about Kyle Allen, but he did look pretty good. Right. Overall, if you have to make that change, I mean, what does that do to Brad Holmes' plans, do you think?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure in this moment what they're thinking, but for Zadarius Smith, word that again for me.
If Zadarius Smith is in that mix by a week from today, but you go looking for another quarterback, in other words, if you're not sold on either one of them, how much does that impede the progress, if at all, on trying to sign Smith? Maybe not at all, huh? Because you got quarterbacks, you've got money, you're going to cut some guys, and you're going to have to make room for him.
I think he'll be fine, regardless of that situation. Okay. I think they'll make room around him to keep him here. He's a holding piece that, look, we'll make sure whatever we need to do to get him. I think they'll be fine. They'll probably keep this quarterback situation rocking and rolling. What's up, Hooper? They'll probably keep this quarterback situation rocking and rolling. I think unfortunately they may trust. What's up, Hooper? Shout out to the Hooper.
We were talking about the Pistons
what
earlier
the Pistons
today.
Gonna do this year, man?
We were talking about the Pistons earlier, buddy. 45.5 or over. We're going over, right, this year? Oh, you better believe it, because they were at 44 last year. Don't leave me hanging here.
50? Can we get 50?
Can we get 50?
50 wins. There it is.
He likes
there it is. 50 wins.
Aren't you
Hooper
warm in that sweater, Hooper? I thought you'd be. No, you're okay. Well, you look sharp.
It's cool.
You look like you're out there playing golf. I like the look, man. You bet, man. You're always looking good. All right.
It's the Hooper golf.
You don't even smell this time. He smells really good this time, actually. In the past, he smelled like a horse.
I don't think Hooper liked that one.
So let me ask you this.
I don't think Hooper liked that.
Ricky and Kool-Aid and I were talking about this. When it comes to a quarterback in a system, okay, and you mentioned, look, here's a guy who missed the entire first year, had a chance to study, and so on and so forth. And I know it's a relatively new system with John Morton, but how long should it take for him to feel and look comfortable in running that system?
I mean, like you said, it is a new system. When you process that, it took him a second to learn what Ben Johnson doing, and now he's trying to learn another system. Supposedly, the system is very similar to that one, so it shouldn't be that much of a difference for him to adapt to. But, still just going out there and getting the reps, different guys in, different guys out, trying to figure out, what that chemistry is going to be like. It is tough for a guy, and especially when the pressure is on to perform at a level that you're the guy if anything happens to number 16. So you would like to see something by now, like being honest. Like by the second preseason game, you would have liked to see something that looked like something you can build on, something that you can hang your hat on. Like, look, did you see how he was in third down? He was very decisive. He took what was available. It looked like I like the command of the huddle. He took some shots, down the field. I like how he came back from this play with some adversity. Like, none of that is lining up. You want to see some of that by now. The next game, he's in danger of something else. He's in danger of something worse.
Yeah. You keep him around, but the next game he's going to get fewer snaps because Jared Goff's going to get some.
Yeah, he's going to be in danger of being like the 4.
Yeah. Yeah, he might be a practice squad guy.
100%.
If you're not careful. This is so easy to
once
answer.
you get that label,
it's hard to get rid of it.
That goes around the league. The other 31 get that same imaging, so now they're not bringing you in to be a guy fighting for that 2 spot or fighting for that 3 spot even.
Yeah. That's why those snaps early in games so vital. And I get a lot of people feel like you get more important snaps against Detroit's 1s if you're running your 2s against the 1 defense.
If that's the case,
but that's not always the case.
If that's the case, then why doesn't it look better now?
Right.
If he's been getting those snaps against the 1s, if he's been seeing the coverage by the best safeties in the league, if he's been seeing the coverage, if he's seeing this by Kelvin Shepard, then it should look different.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Yeah.
It's easy. It's easy for me to answer this question because I was looking for them. So this is a biased response to my own question. But who stood out to you? Because I liked what Tate Ratledge did. I liked what Tyleik Williams did, and obviously Isaac Tesla for a second straight week has made you take notice. Anybody jump out at you other than those three guys?
Nobody really jumped out.
Okay.
And no one really, like, it wasn't, again, I didn't see anybody necessarily take a step ahead of somebody else or take a step or make me notice or pay attention. Like you said, Ratledge is somebody I was paying attention to. I thought there were some good things in there. Tyleik Williams, I thought there was some aggression in there. There was some physicality that I would like to have seen.
Big body to move.
100%. I like the things I saw. And then Tesla, once again, you saw him wanting to make a play, seeing the ball in the air, making a play, getting an end zone, strong hands. So that's what stood out. Yassine made a couple plays in there at the DB position. He was somebody who maybe was on my radar a little bit, some good tackling, if you will. You always want to see how do your DBs tackle. One thing about Aaron Glenn, he implemented a strong tackling secondary, and that looked good by him. So nothing crazy.
You know, I'm glad
Muhammad had a sack.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up that point because I think it gets. I don't think it gets nearly enough notoriety. They've been a good tackling team under Aaron Glenn. I mean, guys are going to break tackles.
It happens.
All right,
to the best of
but
us.
they don't look like the team of Rod Marinelli or Matt Patricia, where guys are waving and missing or guys are breaking tackles against you. It appears to me that they've got some of those fundamentals down pretty well.
It's gotten better and better. I remember going back to 2021 when Aaron Glenn they first got here. Dan Campbell, they weren't good that year. They were 3-13-1. But one thing I did notice is the guys they would tackle. They would come up and tackle. I most noticed it with Derek Barnes. He was a rookie that year out of Purdue. So I'm watching that. They got better the next year. They got better. Then they started drafting well. Jack Campbell, players like that. Kirby Joseph actually became a better tackler in his second and third years out of Illinois. That's one thing that Aaron Glenn implemented in the system. Kelvin Shepard is going to keep implementing. And when you tackle well like that, if you have loose tackling, that saves you from an extra 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe breaking the tackle for even longer because you got the guy grilled. You fall, somebody has a chance to get over there and corral as well. So that is very important.
I've always said this. If you wanted to start a debate, just start talking about the top quarterbacks in football. People will chime in, right? I mean, that's just the way it is. You could do the same thing at your position, wide receivers, but I think most people understand
Top five are solidified.
Yeah, the top five are solidified. I mean, probably the top five quarterbacks are solidified too. But this is interesting. The Athletic put together a series, part of a series, where they took 50 NFL coaches and executives coordinating a 2 first-time tier quarterback type situation. So they put down tier 1, tier 2, and they moved all the way down to tier 5.
Okay.
Right? And the first tier, this just came out today, the first tier is described as this way. This is a quarterback who can carry his team each week. It's a lot to ask for. Okay. The team wins because of him. He expertly handles pure passing situations and has no real holes in his game. All right, that's tier 1. Okay? Tier 2.
That's very tough.
That is.
I can only think of 2 guys.
There's probably not that many in the history of the sport that you could use as that decoration. Tier 2 is a quarterback who can carry his team sometimes, but not consistently. He can handle pure passing situations in doses and or possessions of dimensions. He has a hole or 2 in his game. There is no perfect player out there. We all know this. All right, so that's tier 2. Tier 3 is a quarterback, legitimate starter, needs a heavier running game and or defensive component to win.
Oh,
okay.
I know who belongs in that one.
Okay, I bet you do. Tier 4 is a quarterback who's an unproven player or a veteran who ideally would not start all 17 games. All right?
Okay.
So there's 4. And lastly, tier 5, and really there's only one player in tier 5, a quarterback who is best suited as a backup. Okay? Those are your tiers. So, are you ready?
Yes.
How many do you think are in tier 1? And I'll remind you of what tier 1 is. It's a quarterback who can carry his team each week. They win because of him. He exceeds pure passing situations and has no holes in his game.
It's 2 or 3.
There are 4. That doesn't mean that they're right and you're wrong. I'm just telling you There are 5. I apologize. There are 5 quarterbacks who fit that list.
Okay, I'll name them. But first and foremost, once you say no holes in this game, that eliminates 3 of them.
Yeah.
That eliminates Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. 4.
This is a devious list.
It's not Stafford. Give me a hint.
Well, you've got 4 of them.
Yeah.
You're missing 1 guy.
Oh, so that was 4.
They really put him in.
Jaden Daniels?
No. Joe Burrow.
Oh, excuse me. I miss him. That was my first thought. Joe Burrow
okay.
first.
So, I'm sure you were going to do that. That's what they have. They have Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow 1. They have Josh Allen 3, Lamar Jackson 4, Matthew Stafford 5.
So
who doesn't belong?
Matt Stafford doesn't belong.
Because?
Because he said no holes in his game.
What's the hole in his game?
Matt Stafford.
Mobility?
Well, I mean, I won't necessarily count that as a knock in your game. Joe Burrow doesn't have the most mobility. He doesn't even holes in his game.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Matt Stafford at times, man, like when you put it all on him, he does too much. He starts forcing interceptions, turnovers. He starts looking like the Darren headlights that we've seen before here in Detroit. You know, the same thing you saw with the Rams until they added some pieces when he was there. Odell Beckham helped him out tremendously, and then on defense, Von Miller. So I think he needs that running game at times, you know, and that's why he didn't necessarily have the most success here. So.
Cooper Kupp was in the MVP conversation.
100%.
Here's what one of the scouts or talent who participated in this said about him. I always had a high admiration for him as a competitor, arm talent, and playmaker, but always thought he was a gunslinger. He still has that in him, but his mind, his ability to process, think, and communicate stand out to me as much as anything else.
You know what's fair in this conversation? Let me retract. No, let me not retract, but let me say it this way. He's evolved as a quarterback. And that's the one thing I think sometimes we forget and we don't add into that equation when we talk about him. He's evolved. He's not the same quarterback he was in Detroit. He was a really good quarterback in Detroit, but he did have holes in his game and he did come up short. Once he got to the Rams, they've added some pieces, whatever he and Sean McVay have worked on over the years. He sees the game differently. He doesn't make the same mistakes. And it really changed when they brought in Odell Beckham, not to give him the credit, but that's when I saw the change in him. Because like we talked about, the Philadelphia game last year in the snow, like that's him putting the game on his shoulders and trying to go get a win in Philly. You know how tough it is to win in January in Philly, craziest fans in the league. So taking that jump, he doesn't make those Matt Stafford mistakes anymore.
Listen to what
I might have talked myself into it.
Well, maybe this defensive coordinator will talk you back out of it.
Okay.
I guarantee you all the ones for Stafford came from offensive coaches. Offensive coaches kiss this guy's ass all the time, especially guys from that system. He's really good, man. He really is. I would take him over Herbert because he's a better passer with better timing, but everybody kisses his ass. Another defensive coordinator. That dude is something. Every time I watch him, I go, whoa, he is a high 2. So he's borderline. That's why he's 5th in that, okay?
It makes sense because I just legitimately had that same conversation. I said he should be 2, and then I said that. So I think that therein lies the quandary, as they say.
All right, 9 guys are in Tier 2. 9. Give me your best guess on who some of those 9 are. You don't have to guess the number exactly, but give me 9 guys you think could be in Tier 2. I'll check them off as you go.
Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert is number 7.
Okay. Tua? No, Tua is.
No, Tua Tagovailoa is not in the second tier.
What about C.J. Stroud?
C.J. Stroud is in the second tier, tied for number 9.
Okay. What about Jordan Love?
Jordan Love is number 13, so he is in the Tier 2. Yep.
Jared Goff? No, he's in 3.
Nope, Jared Goff is number 8.
That was some shade to Jared Goff. Jalen Hurts.
Who's that?
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts is underrated, but at number 9, tied with C.J. Stroud. I'd take Jalen Hurts over C.J. Stroud in a minute.
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels is number 6.
There we go.
Yep. So you're doing well. You've got Daniels, you've got Herbert, you've got Goff, you've got Stroud, you've got Hurts, and you've got Love. You're missing 3 guys. One of them could have legitimately been an MVP candidate last year for a team that you don't think
Baker
can threaten.
Mayfield?
Yes.
Baker Mayfield
is number 11.
As he deserves to be.
Now you're missing 2. One guy you cannot stand, and you would not believe he belongs in this
Oh,
team.
my God. Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott is number 12, and number 14 just signed a big contract. They're banking on him getting by without one of the best weapons they've had in a very rich, traditional franchise.
Oh, Rich, the Brock Purdy?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow, you're pretty damn good at this. Pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. All right, tier 3.
Okay.
You've got 12 guys.
Oof.
12. I don't expect you to name all of them. Because the only guy who's not in is Kenny Pickett. He's the one who's strictly a backup.
I got you.
So here's what you've got. Tier 3, Kyler Murray, 15.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers, 16.
Geno Smith is in there?
He is in this list. Tua Tagovailoa, 17.
Okay.
Trevor Lawrence, 18. Geno Smith, 19. Bo Nix, 20, which kills me. I think Bo Nix is pretty damn good. Now, I'm not saying he should be in tier 1, but if you're going to put Jaden Daniels 5 and Bo Nix all the way down at 19, I think you're wondering a little bit about where you're what you're thinking. He belongs to be higher than
Hear me out on this with the Bo Nix thing. I think that them trying to see how much of this is Bo Nix and how much of this system is Sean Payton.
Yeah, fair enough.
Give him a little more chance to prove himself.
Okay.
Yes, but I think he's on their radar for sure. Okay. They just want to see what does this year look like.
Sam Darnold is tied with him at 20.
Crazy how a career can turn around when you get with the right coach.
Yep.
It's just crazy.
And then you wonder if it'll go backwards going to a different coach. He will not have Kevin O'Connell, and that always begs the question. Was it the quarterback? Was it the head coach? Was it the combination? You know, we saw that with who? Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Okay. Speaking of Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, New England's Drake May is 22.
Ooh. What are your thoughts on him? Quick.
I think I haven't seen enough of him. I thought he was pretty good at UNC. I can't say that I would draft him as high as they did.
Okay.
What's surprising to me in this list is that he is rated above Caleb Williams at 23. And then Bryce Young at 24, Kirk Cousins at 25. Tier 4 is Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, Michael Penix, J.J. McCarthy, Daniel Jones, Joe Flacco, Anthony Richardson, Spencer Rattler, and then Kenny Pickett at number 5 in the tier. Isn't that crazy?
Kenny Pickett is last. That's hilarious.
It is hilarious.
It's hilarious. He might be starting quarterback.
I wouldn't mind him as a backup. Not at all. I mean, I've said that for over a month now. I've said if there's a guy, if you're going to get rid of your guys, if you don't feel comfortable with Kyle Allen, or you don't feel comfortable with Hendon Hooker, and you want to wait it out, Pickett might be the odd man out in Cleveland. I'd take him as a backup in a second.
It's funny. I'm going back to the Drake May conversation. You said that you were surprised that Drake May is in front of Caleb Williams, and then Bryce Young was after Caleb Williams.
Right.
First of all, it's crazy. Both of them are Heisman Trophy winners, but I'm surprised that Bryce Young is ahead of Caleb Williams. But going to the Drake May thing doesn't surprise me because he looked like a starting quarterback in the NFL. I think there are a lot of times last year. I'm not saying that Caleb doesn't have more talent than Drake May, but Caleb didn't look like the starting quarterback in the NFL. Looked like a lot of things he may have struggled with, and I didn't see it. With Drake May, I saw more promise of things to come. So I can understand that just for this year.
How much of that has to do he was sacked over 60 times?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. When you don't have offensive linemen protecting you up front, you can never get into a rhythm, and you start to spend more time worrying about how fast you're going to hit versus who's coming open in that second window and getting to a second and third option. You start thinking about getting hit.
Look, I'm not going to lie. I was not a big Caleb Williams fan. I liked Jaden Daniels much more coming out of LSU, not because he won the Heisman Trophy, because Caleb Williams won one too. I like the way he played the position. What do you look for when you say that about Drake May and you say it about Caleb Williams? What is it you're looking at or is it just your eye test?
It's just a certain presence that you have. A lot of times you can look in their eyes and see if they have it, but you'll see When the guys kind of just looking always around and look like they're looking at different lights or things are catching them, it's because they're thinking so much about what's going on in that game. That presence, when you see a quarterback coming to a huddle, all right, fellas, all right, guys, look, this is what we're going to do. Right zero. Yo, Rodney, watch the hot. We got this. Like, when you see that energy, I believe in what that play call is going to be. I believe that at least he's going to get up there and get his guys in good situations. And then you see how players respond to a player. They were going through a tumultuous time last season with the Chicago Bears. Everyone knows that. It was just it was a horrible environment in terms of energy, in terms of mood, in terms of coaching. It was bad to be around. Yeah. With that being said, you still struggle together. So you can see if a player responds to another player. And you didn't get any response out of the players last year to Caleb Williams. I saw a different response from players to Drake May for the New England Patriots.
Some feel like their backup in Chicago is better suited to be a starting quarterback than Caleb Williams. And I think that's taking it way overboard. That's turning into, so nuclear and so transparent after one season. Like I've already said, I'm not a huge fan. I don't think he showed or didn't show enough last year for me to make me to go, sorry, he's not that good. I would move on. That's ridiculous. That's so hyperbolic. It's crazy.
But that's the fan aspect, and that's when you got to stop paying attention to social media. That's when you got to stop listening to the dumb shows that 4 letters have, where they just try to convince you all these idiotic notions. At the end of the day, when you're a backup quarterback in the NFL, you're suited to do a job. You're a professional, and you're going to do just that. Also, there's no pressure on you. You're going to go in there and you're going to play a basic style of football, and that football style is going to work. The reason why the backup quarterback is the backup quarterback, he doesn't have the assets, the tools, and he doesn't have the potential that the starting quarterback has. And then with Caleb Williams as the starter, he's coming out as the Heisman Trophy winner. He already messed up in the media in terms of how his image is out there before the season even starts. He had to deal with people on his team talking about the color of his nails and all this other stuff, and then his father and his mouth, and with it was such a distraction. Yeah. And then you have a coach that doesn't understand how to coach. He's a defensive-minded coach in Eberflus that does not know how to take care of a rookie quarterback in this crazy NFL that we have today. So now you have a quarterback that's going to be worth a lot of money, that is first-round draft pick, with all of these things on his mind, trying to figure out how to get this Chicago offense, which has traditionally been trash through the histories, through the annals. That's why they've never had a 4,000-yard quarterback. I got to get them back on track to compete with Green Bay and Jordan Love, the Detroit Lions and Jared Goff, and Minnesota Vikings now with J.J. McCarthy. There's a lot that goes into the mental. Yeah. So it's a lot different for a backup quarterback to go in there and do a simple job.
And on top of that, I said 62, it's 68. He was sacked 68 times. That's the third most in NFL history. That doesn't exude a lot of confidence either. Here's what some of them said.
And then, oh, by the way, I'm about to get hit anyway.
Yeah.
There's no time.
Right. So here's what some of them said. One GM said, I think it'll come in time. Maybe it's a little bit like Josh Allen early in his career, where he has so much good other stuff that you will live with some negative plays, and as he gets more snaps under his belt, that will come. Another person said, he's got the talent to go up, but in terms of processing ability and getting the ball out of his hands, it was the worst he played against one of his teams. He just holds the ball forever. I'm thinking the ball should go right there. Throw it, and he didn't even throw it. As far as Jared Goff goes, the reason he's at 8, we will tell you that when we come back here, when we're live at the University of Michigan Golf Course here. We're on the Braylon Edwards Show, and we are here because of a kidagain.org doing the right thing for really good people.
We'll have stories about the kids. Actually, I can tell you now, man, I love partnering with a kid again. The cool thing about it is these kids, they look forward to these events. They look forward to the events. They actually mark down the days on the calendar when they're in the hospital that they can step outside and come to an event like this or go to whatever events they do. We love being a partner in it, and that's why Woodward Sports sponsors the golf outing as well, man. We love partnering with the right people. Speaking of partnering with the right people, time to get in shape at Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. But the summer is almost over. August 31st is about to be around the corner. The high school summer pass at Planet Fitness is almost done. Get out of the house, get away from the screens. Mental health, just as important as physical health, if not more. So we want to put you in the judgment-free zone. That's right. And then get yourself a workout in. There's no judgment. There's trainers on staff to get you right. But if you're not 14 and 19, well, you go to Planet Fitness because the fitness fits into your budget. Remember, health is wealth. So Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app online or in club and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network. Detroit has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network.
Almost.
I'm just kidding.
Almost.
I played pretty close to 8 But you know, we got Al from Max Packs with us, and he was out there part of it. And Mad Pack, you were all enjoying your time as well. Al, how did your team do?
We were 2 under. Greens were tough.
Yes, greens were definitely
Al,
tough.
did you wear a hat? Because
no, I did not.
You are roasted out there, man. Look at how red you are.
Get a little fried.
My goodness.
Get a little fried.
You look like the Mad Pack logo right there. That's how red you are.
Got the red hoodie.
Yeah, holy mother. So, but you enjoyed yourself, didn't you?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah. What is it that you enjoy most about these types of situations and the folks out there?
Golfing is very, very fun. If you play with the right people, you have a good time and everything like that.
I've always said this. I think you'll learn a lot about people when you play golf.
Yeah, you do. It gives you time because it gives you legit rounds on average. What 4:30, 5:15. Yeah, so it gives you 4 hours of learning. You don't need that long. You can see who somebody is probably by the end of the second hole.
Al, I know you're a big sports fan. Just about everybody is. Okay, right. You're not going to be out here if you're not a sports fan. You're not involved with Woodward Sports if you're not a sports fan. And Mad Pax is. Tell me what your favorite sport is and why.
Football.
There it is.
Just love the game. Lions are really good for once the last 3 years or whatever. I think they got a good chance, but I mean, I'm not counting on them.
Do you bet a lot on the Lions?
Do I bet on sports?
Do you bet on the Lions a lot?
A little bit.
Okay. If I gave you the over-under, last year they were 15-2. If I gave you the under-over of 10.5, what would you take and why?
I've already bet the under. Their schedule is 3rd hardest in the league. All the teams in our division have improved.
Okay.
The NFL improves every year. Teams get better.
So you trust J.J. McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings right now?
Their offense is that good.
That is true. That is true.
They do have a better defense than Detroit. Ooh. I mean, I know Detroit had a lot of injuries last year and everything, but injuries are part of the game. You know that.
You think they have a better defense than Detroit? In what way?
Just all their players are better.
Really?
Yeah, they were ranked higher or whatever, I think.
This was a setup. This was a setup.
This is
you bought Al on here to dog the Detroit Lions.
No,
like what is going on?
No, I don't think you're dogging them.
I'm just being funny.
The Lions will probably make the playoffs.
Oh, that's nice of you, Al.
Oh, we appreciate it.
I would think so. Just out of curiosity, like you said, they've got better players. You've seen Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. Both are Pro Bowlers, all pro.
They're both top 5 too.
They're both top 5 safeties.
Yes.
DJ Reed's pretty damn good corner.
Jack Campbell.
Right? Jack Campbell really came into his own a year ago. He did something that no Lion has done since Stephen Boyd in 2013. And you've got a
say what you want. Anzalone's 145 tackles a year.
Preach.
And 2.5 sacks. You can count on that from Anzalone every year.
And Aiden Hutchinson's an absolute beast, the top 5 at his position. Once they get Aleem McNeil, who I would argue is top 10 at his position, give me the Minnesota Vikings offenders who are better than that.
I don't know players like that. I don't know keep stats like that. I just go by the scores of the games and who I think is better in my mind, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
You know?
All right.
Everybody has their own opinion.
Yeah, here's the thing I learned working with Braylon. You better come with receipts. So,
hey, you know.
Al from Mad Packs, if you're coming and you're going to give me Minnesota's better defense, you got to tell me why.
I think that they have a better all-around team then.
Okay.
I got you.
That's fair.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Packers,
I don't think it is fair, but that's okay. That's all right, Al.
The Packers, they looked like crap the other day on the preseason game.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were going to be that bad.
So where do you think Detroit finishes, Al? What do you? You're betting the under,
I think
or you're
they're
taking
going to
10?
finish at 9-8 or 10-7.
Really?
Because their road games are very, very tough.
Would you do me a favor?
Go ahead.
Could I bet a round of golf with you on
Sure.
that? You and me and Braylon and either Ricky or Kool-Aid. I mean,
You got the over at Detroit over 10.5?
I got them over 10 wins. I've got them at least
so
11.
A 10, and it's a tie?
Yeah. 10 would be a push.
Sounds good to me.
And you've got them at 9-7.
No, I said 9-8 or 10-7.
Oh, 9-8 or 10-7. Can you pick one for me?
Oh.
Putting the pressure on, huh?
Yeah, there you go. That's what happens.
I'm going to take 9-8.
9-8.
9
a
and
game
8.
over 500 for a team that went 15-2 last year. When you bring up the tough schedule, it's a fair point. It's an excellent point.
Can I talk about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because that's exactly what I was leading to. I was going to ask, and I definitely understand, and I respect what you say over there, Al. Big L, shout out to Big Al. My thing is the Lions have now put themselves in a situation to where they're one of the top fair 7 teams in the league. Whether you want to put 100%, I put them top 5, but wherever you want to put them, fine. When you are one of the better teams in the league, then saying that you're going to play against a hard schedule, guess what? You're one of the teams on that hard schedule.
Right.
You're one of those teams that's really good. So it's not like back in the day when the Lions are going into Philly and they got to go see the Philadelphia Eagles, or they got to go to Washington and see the Commanders, or they got to go back and see the Chiefs at Arrowhead. Guess what? No, the Chiefs have the Detroit Lions coming in town, and they have to prepare. The Eagles have the Detroit Lions coming in town. The Commanders, who know the Detroit Lions, owe them an ass-kicking, got to know the Lions are coming to town. So I think it plays well to the Lions as well. They're now at a point where how good they are, it nullifies the schedule things. It is a tough schedule. Notice I didn't mention Baltimore. I'm not taking any NFC team in Baltimore. The facts prove it. He's undefeated against the NFC at home and everywhere. So I'm not taking the Baltimore. The other ones, though, I think they're good enough to where that point nullifies. And now it's going to be the best team on that day is going to win that game.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's
right. Does it change your mind, Al?
No, not really.
I love it.
I love that too.
You know what? I love
that.
The authenticity.
Yeah, I love that he believes in it.
I was going to ask, though, did he tell you guys about his belief or disbelief in the Tigers?
No, I was going there next. What happened there, Al?
They could. I think Cleveland might catch them.
You about to piss Shep off. Yeah. You about to piss Shep off.
I think Cleveland might catch them.
I'm going to be quiet.
They got 6 games against Cleveland.
Oh, no.
Besides Scooble, the staff has really gone downhill.
Who's the ace for Cleveland?
I don't know, but they're playing well right now.
Well,
he's good at he's good at knowing everything but the players' names. I like it though, but he brings up something that I ask Shep every day in a playful way. But I think deep down inside my soul, I believe I'm really asking that question seriously. So this time, I see you, Big Al.
Yeah,
I see you.
Al from Mad Packs. Good to be with you, buddy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me and enjoyed it.
All right, remember golf.
Yes.
Okay, golf.
I will remember that.
It's going to have to be next year, but I don't want you to lose sight. Okay, I want you to make sure you're in touch with Tim.
100%.
You've got Kool-Aid's number. You've got Ricky's number, because we are salivating right now at the opportunity to play golf with you.
Okay.
All right, buddy. All right,
Sounds
it's good
great.
to have you. All right.
Thank you.
Al from
Appreciate
Mad
it.
Packs with us here on the Braylon Edwards Show. Now, he was not a fan of the Lions. He thinks Minnesota's got more talent.
This is true.
He thinks Chicago has more talent. He thinks Green Bay has more talent.
You're really putting me right through the grinder.
The Raiders. I think he said the Raiders are more talented.
Al say that.
Al actually told me during the break he thinks Carolina's going to go to the Super Bowl.
No, I did not say that.
2015 all over again.
Well, quick timeout when we come back. I want Braylon to hear what the Athletics said about Jared Goff. I want Al to hear what we have to say about Cleveland, but that's during the break. So we're back in the Braylon Edwards Show after this.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
That was fun with Al.
It was.
From Mad Packs.
It's still going secretly.
Huh?
It's still secretly going.
Still secretly going.
You're secretly sending him jabs.
Helping him out. Always like him to. Next time he goes
care.
into a conversation with somebody and he makes that statement, I'm trying to help him, so he's got some ammunition for it all.
On the non-serious side, on the more playful side, what would 9-8 look like for the Lions? Like how
That'd
would
be injuries.
How would 9-8 even come about realistically?
Injuries.
Okay.
Like to massive players. We're talking about Jared Goff, Penei Sewell, Jahmyr Gibbs.
I don't even want to speak of it.
Okay, I don't either. That's Al talking, not us.
Yeah,
so, I
right.
mean, just so you know.
I just look at how this
9-8. I can't fathom that, man.
I see how this team is constructed realistically. Like I can't see any realm where they lose more than when they lose more than 6 games.
Yeah.
Like 6 games, I think is the number. Like 11 and something. Now, whether you think you want to be brave and say they'll win 13 games, sure, maybe they will, maybe they won't. But I think for me, 11-6 is the barometer, the fall. And I think realistically to do and accomplish their goal last year, 2 years ago is the number. I think 12 is the number. 12 ensures you win the NFC North, in my opinion. 12 may put you second seed in the NFC. I think no one wins more than 13 games this year.
Yeah. Good for you. You know what I love most is the comment that, look, when other teams are playing their schedule and sports talk show hosts are having good debates and good conversation about it, you know what they're saying? We got to host Detroit.
Yeah,
we got to go to Detroit. Yeah, you and I both, I think, agree with this. They're not going undefeated in the division.
No.
And they're not going undefeated on the road.
No.
All right? So they're not winning 15 games.
And they may lose back-to-back games for the first time in 2.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, they may.
Does that mean you and I have to come to a screeching golf cart stop at the putting green to make sure we get out and do what we have to do? I don't think it does. But anyway, go ahead.
I think it plays, to their favor this year. Look, I think that Detroit will lose more games than they did last year. I think they'll be a better team. They'll be a better team, especially towards the end of the year once all their pieces fall into place. You get Liam McNeil back. You get Johnny Moe. Gets into about 8-9 weeks of the season. You get to see what this thing looks like, and you start to get some rhythmic cadence. And I think they will be a better team that way. So I think the Lions will be better towards the end.
Yeah, the 9-8. I think you're right about that. I mean, it's got to be injuries, and Jared Goff would be.
They're too
that
good
key.
of a team. The players are too good. Like their ceiling is 11. Their floor is 11.
Yeah, I think Jared Goff is. I don't know if he's underrated, But I think he's probably rated right. He's one of those few quarterbacks who I think, yes, I think everybody would understand, and everybody who has talked about his talents and where he is. He's a top 10 guy. The Athletic, who came out with tiered quarterbacks, the top tier, the guys who can take their team. They don't need much help of anybody else. They are a master controller. There's 5 of them, and ironically, Matthew Stafford is number 5. Braylon disagrees with that. The next tier, you need some help. Every position player in football does. So it's kind of a crazy way to describe it. But they've got Goff at number 8, so I want to read you what some of them say. Goff and Burrow are probably the 2 best anticipation throwers that I have seen lately, so you have to put him in as a 1. That's what one head coach said in the National Football League. You might put him at a 2 from a pure quarterback standpoint. He struggles to extend plays, but the guy has played at a 1 level for 3 years in a row.
Preach. That's the one thing I've been saying about my man. This guy, no matter what you say about him at the beginning of the season, by the end of the season, you find him amongst the best in the league.
Here's what I would say about Jared Goff. I think he's definitely very honestly ranked, and I think what happened is for him, the last 3 years and how he's played, how he's progressed this offense, this Lions offense, and how he's gotten better and more efficient as a quarterback. He's gotten even faster in his anticipation process. I think it now allowed individuals to go back and remember he did help the Los Angeles Rams get to the Super Bowl. He was neck and neck with Mahomes at one point, and be honest, he beat Mahomes in that epic Monday night game. So now you're able to take that and piece it with, shoot, this is 6 years later, and he's operating like that. So I think he's getting that just due. For me, you can't be a number 1 and have the game he had against the Washington Commanders. Like, that is simply, so that negates him from being in that one conversation. Anyone can have a bad game. Lamar Jackson had a bad game, but Lamar Jackson also did the things to put that team right back in the situation to win that game against the Buffalo Bills. You cannot have 5 turnovers in a home game in which you are favored to win and you are the number 1 seed in the NFC. Don't give me this bleep about who got hurt at the defensive back position. Don't give me this bleep about who Ben Johnson chose to start, which was the wrong one. Don't give me that.
Are you buying the concussion theory?
No. I'm not.
Yeah. I'm not buying that.
To be honest, he would have to come out. He's the type of guy that will come out 10 years from now, and it would accidentally get out because somebody knew somebody said that, because he's that private and he's that much of a warrior, so I respect that about him. You cannot be a 1 and have that type of game, simply put. And if he was a 1, that game took him back to a 2.
Over the last 3 years, which quarterback leads the National Football League in touchdown passes?
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff with 96.
Yep. I know, he's like 2 ahead of Mahomes.
Isn't that crazy?
That's insane.
It is. 96.
That's insane. And undefeated against Mahomes as well.
Yeah, 1-0.
Yeah,
but you guys were. I thought he got 2, but
he got 1. Well, he beat him in the Rams.
Yeah, he beat him with the Rams. Yeah.
But you guys, you're right about this thing. Obviously, we've seen the Lions play from ahead as it relates to the NFC North and NFC in general the last couple of years. This year, to me, it is simply about, we know who you guys are, but who are you in the postseason? Can you get there healthy, and can you still execute at a high level? Because aside from the health, there's been a lack of execution the last 2 playoffs as well that has done them in. A lot of people, they talk about the drop, and some people talk about off the face mask of Vildor. 2 years ago, and then last year, we all understand that all systems failed as it relates to Jared Goff and what that offense was supposed to be.
And that's why I didn't go back to those games, because that's human error. And that wasn't on Jared Goff. I didn't mention those games because I didn't think he played terribly in those games. I think that was a little bit of coaching, and there was a little bit of some botch-up situations with that. But, I had the point. I lost it.
Well, while you search for it, let me give you a couple other quotes, okay? You will see this year if it is the coordinator or the quarterback. But I think it has been more the quarterback than advertised, said one executive. Goff and Mayfield are legit guys who can get in a rhythm and dice you up. They are not as good as the top guys in Tier 1, but they deserve to be up there.
Going back to that conversation that you were saying, the comment that you made, this is going to be the year. Dan Campbell didn't win Coach of the Year last year. Much to our chagrin at 15-2. Dan Campbell didn't win Coach of the Year when he was 12-5.
Right.
When they didn't really expect the Lions to be that good, he didn't win it. Dan Campbell, if if you're the type of coach that we believe you can be, if you're the type of coach that everyone thinks you are, this is the year that you win Coach of the Year, because people will respect this role. They will respect the journey, and they will give you more of the credit than versus saying, yeah, Dan Campbell's a good coach, but his coordinators are dynamic. And also on the flip side for Jared Goff, this would be the year for Jared Goff that he can prove he's the number one. He can prove he was already worth the number one draft pick, but he can truly prove he was worth the number one draft pick. He can truly have people stop saying, well, if they play outside in Philly in January, he's not going to be any good because he can't throw the ball when it's cold outside. Like, there's no Ben Johnson. So now there's not the conversation. Is it Ben Johnson? Is it Jared Goff? There is now Jared Goff and there is now Dan Campbell. They both can take a major step forward on those scales of theirs this year.
So you think there's definitely a link.
Yeah.
People are suggesting that Jared Goff has been successful because he's played under Sean McVay, who's one of the brightest offensive minds in football, and Ben Johnson, because they feel he's very similar in that regard.
Yeah, 100%. And they say, look, like you said, Sean McVay, you see what he's put together. You see what he continuously does as it relates to the offensive system. And the same for Ben Johnson, at least in his last 2.5 years. So I think a lot of people are looking at it from that lens. They want to see who is Jared Goff. Fair or not, it doesn't matter. It's something that needs to be seen.
Well, I'm wondering a little bit about what you said with Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
Why does Coach of the Year matter so much? And immediately my brain goes to Phil Jackson. Here's a guy who's won so many championships in the NBA. I understand it's a different sport. He was named Coach of the Year once.
Yeah, that's hate.
Yeah, I think I don't want to claim that it's hate against Dan Campbell, but I'm wondering why that accolade matters for somebody's final resume.
I think it's validation, because the NFL doesn't give anything outright. They don't give any, they don't allow people to come and have one magical year and then, bam, you're the guy. They make you earn it. So when you earn something, an accolade like MVP, when you earn an accolade like Coach of the Year, you've truly, truly been the best coach for probably 4 years. Or you've been one of the best coaches for 4 or 5 years, and they made you earn it. So I think when people see that, like, for me, it's a tip of the cap. I look at Josh Allen this year. He beat Lamar Jackson. Whether it's fair or not, no. Lamar Jackson's stats were unreal. But at the end of the day, it's the regular season. Josh has fought, scraped, and clawed the last 5 years to be a better version of himself. They finally got him some offensive rhythm. They finally understood, get him a run game. He changed. He slowed the game down, and he was a delight to watch last year when he won MVP. Kudos. Because every year you put yourself in this situation to finally get this award. Same for coaches. I think it's something when you talk about a head coach, like you add that accolade, especially if they won a Super Bowl. It's coach, NFL Coach of the Year, or Super Bowl, ... Like, it's something that they extend to the resume, and it's like a tip of the cap. This guy earned it. This player earned it.
Yeah. When you look at this team, some people would argue, not necessarily me, but some people would argue, well, look at all the talent he has on his team. So he should be winning. When a guy like Kevin O'Connell wins with a Sam Darnold, because everybody remembers what Sam Darnold does as a Jet and as a Panther, so they feel like that was more worthy. I thought the finalists were appropriate. I like Kevin O'Connell. I think he's very good. Obviously, Dan Campbell I like. Andy Reid is unbelievable. What he did last year was worthy of putting him in that same conversation. So I didn't have a problem with Dan Campbell losing it, per se. But I would say the negative side of that is that people feel like this team is built with a lot of talent, a lot of depth, and more so than just about anybody else has out there.
I think it's because people feel they still don't subscribe like what Dan Campbell is. He represents the meathead. He's a former football player. He comes with additional grit and Belane if you want to. And I know you're like, I don't buy into that. I buy into that because when you look at Kevin O'Connell and the other guys are smooth, straight-laced. They're guys you like, they're the new offensive geniuses. They're the ones they rave about. They're the ones they talk about. They're all the hooping and the hollering, whether it's Kellen Moore or, this guy. I think those are the guys that people are gravitating towards. Dan Campbell's an old school guy. He's not wearing a suit and tie. He's not, slicking his hair back. He's got the window in the background when he's doing interviews and he's sexy and all that. He's got his shirt rolled up, sleeves rolled up, hat slicked down, got a dip in his mouth, and he's ready to get after his football.
He's that.
I love that. And so a lot of times people don't gravitate toward that.
So Ditka was a lot like that, but he did wear a shirt and a tie and a sweater and stuff. How much
sign of the times.
Yeah, exactly, exactly right. I don't know how much it matters. I mean, I'm not a fan of Mike McDaniel in Miami, and I sure don't like his look on the sidelines, but that's the way it is. I can't expect people to look like Tom Landry and Don Shula and, Vince Lombardi and those guys. That's not where I'm going.
But that swag is so dope, though. I would love a coach to do that. If I ever coached, I would wear a suit.
Yeah, Hank Stram. Well, remember, Mike Nolan did that with San Francisco, wore a sweater vest and a tie, and everybody couldn't believe it. They thought he looked pretty stupid, quite honestly.
You also look as good as you're doing. Bill Belichick looked horrible for years with the cutoff, but when you're winning 13 games a year, you know what? The cutoff it ain't that bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Yeah, it looks pretty good. All right.
You know what? Mike Nolan messed up. He should have drafted me. Instead, he drafted Alex Smith. He got fired.
Yeah.
He got fired.
Did get fired.
He did.
Yeah. Alex Smith was pretty good, man. If you go behind Alex Smith, College Football Hall of Fame, you should be in there. But
thank you.
Without the injuries, I like Alex Smith. I thought he was a damn good quarterback.
I thought you asked a good question there too, Shep, as it relates to why does it matter? Like if we know Dan Campbell is our guy and he's that good coach, this year more than ever. Like maybe the past couple years I could have
because he lost the two coordinators. You're saying because he lost two guys up front.
Coordinators, the expectations, national media is wondering have they fallen off? Not only in the NFC but also in the NFC.
You're right.
This year it would mean a little bit more than even if there was a little Kool-Aid sprinkled in to why I wanted him to win before. This year I think it would be even that much more of a validation and him exceeding expectations.
I think you're right about that.
Side note, look, fans, we can't get too caught up into, what other telecasts or what other broadcasts, what they talk about as it relates to the Detroit Lions and expectations. If you start to pay attention to that, they're not tapped in, they don't know, and they also don't care. They're spreading panic. They don't know how good the Detroit Lions are. They are talking about basic surface stuff. Oh, they lost their coordinator. Oh, Frank Ragnow retired. They know nothing. They don't know the depths of the Lions. They don't know what they're capable of, and also they don't know what the inside scouts are talking about, what the other teams are talking about. The other teams fear the Detroit Lions. The other teams still know how good this roster is, still know what the depth is and what the chemistry is that Dan Campbell has created here. So don't worry about those other broadcasts. Don't worry about it. They have no clue of what this Detroit Lions team has the ability to be.
Well, get us fired up then, Brian.
I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest.
No, I think you're right.
I got some intel this week. So
it's awesome. I did find it very fascinating that Ben Johnson on the sideline really fired up when his defense makes a stand against Miami, which was a really dumb play, fourth down. They reach back 5 yards, run it right up the gut. There you go, Mike McDaniel. And then with Aaron Glenn, the feedback was he's screaming at guys on the sideline to stop doing stupid things, Jets-like things. The discipline, it's interesting. Let them play. Let them have fun. But if you're not winning, we need a disciplinarian. They got it in New York. I'm sure they have it in Chicago now, too, with Ben Johnson. But Aaron Glenn, it was visible if you watched any of the Jets game.
When I went to practice, you saw it.
Yeah.
Like when I went to practice, when they were out there making plays and everything was going right and it was fluid and it was smooth and it was rhythmic, he was letting them play. He was letting them have some fun. There was some excitement. There was some cheer. But there were some times where it got a little sloppy. It got a little lack. The effort wasn't there. And he got after those guys. He dialed it back in. He broke it. He did things that you need to do to remind guys what you're playing for. You can't let guys get too comfortable till they're too lax. Like you got to keep the pressure on.
We were comfortable here all day long. We really enjoyed it out here at the University of Michigan Golf Course. I'm glad Braylon had some fun for a great cause.
I'm ready to be in the studio.
We will be back in the studio tomorrow on the Braylon Edwards Show
from
2 to 4. We hope you can join us. Remind you, follow us on all our socials. They do a wonderful job at Woodward Sports of giving you the best things and some of the great conversation. A lot of things that start on sports radio stem from Woodward Sports social media. Make sure you follow it. Make sure you're back with us tomorrow, 2 o'clock, on the Braylon Edwards Show on Woodward Sports.
Get ready for the ultimate sports experience. Join former University of Michigan star and NFL sensation Braylon Edwards alongside the charismatic Shep.
Braylon Edwards, touchdown Michigan!
As they break down the latest in sports like never before. Tune into the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Touchdown, Braylon Edwards!
Weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. only on the Woodward Sports Network. Don't miss out on hot topics, insider insights, and the banter that keeps you coming back for more.